Hi, Jennifer with Mindful Movement, Mindful Living, and I am here today with a quick movement break for happy hips. So often in everyday life, we are in fixed positions where maybe we're stuck in the same position for a long time, sitting at a desk, driving our car. Also, we're in a lot of flexed hip positions, which also include sitting at a desk or driving in a car, riding a bicycle, those sorts of things. So even if we're active, we might be in some flexed hip positions often. So this is a nice way to kind of balance that out and release the hips a little bit. So we feel nice and mobile. So we have that nice balance of mobility and stability in the hips. I teach movement. And even though I teach movement, I actually just was on a few long plane rides this week. So even if you are able to move frequently in everyday life, you may still find yourself, like me, in need of a little hip release. So here we go. So I was actually just teaching in Jamaica this week, which is one of my favorite things to do. But sadly, I don't live very close to Jamaica. It actually snowed a little bit outside at my house today. So there were some long plane rides where I was sort of stuck sitting in a fixed position. There was also a ton of turbulence on one of those flights, so we really were kind of just stuck in the seat the whole time. So here's a little antidote to that. So we're going to start in a high kneeling position. You may not need the blocks yet. You might want something. I have, as you can see, this really cushy, sort of soft plush rug, but if your knees are uncomfortable, you can certainly pad them up with a blanket or a yoga mat, whatever feels, whatever helps your knees feel comfortable. But I'm in a high kneeling position. I'll show from the front. So the middle of my kneecaps are about under the hip bones. And then from here, I'm just gonna take one leg, I'm just gonna bring my front leg, one leg forward. And on my front leg, my knee will be just about over the ankle. So that shin is about vertical. And then from here, I'm going to find a neutral pelvis. So I'm not arching my back or tucking under, but I'm just nice and neutral. And then from here, I'm gonna keep this position and just sort of shift that neutral pelvis forward as far as I can. The feeling is almost like you're trying to tuck your tailbone, but you'll stay neutral to open up the front of the hip here. So this is really nice. It's kind of like the opposite of sitting, right? Or flying, sitting in a car, flying, sitting at your desk. So this is a nice opener here. So just getting that nice hip opening in the front of the hip. Sometimes it's tempting to do sort of this and hang out here, but to really effectively start to open up some of the parts that are stuck in that flexed position, we're gonna stay neutral. So it's a smaller movement, but more effective in some ways, just as far as opening up the front of this hip. This side is in that flexed position. So this side, as you can kind of see, this is the position we're in a lot in everyday life. So this is the opposite on the side. And don't worry, this side will get its turn to stretch in a moment. So from here, you can hang out right here and watch as you're holding it that you don't start to like lose it and kind of sink out of it. So think about really keep that neutral pelvis. Now you can hang out here. You could also just add a little variety to your movement by just taking this thigh on the back leg and just turning out from the hip a bit and let your foot come with you. I'm gonna show it from the front so you can see. So I was like this, pretty parallel, and then I'm just turning this back thigh out a little bit, which means that the whole leg will kind of move in one piece. So you'll see my foot came in a little bit. And then same thing, think about that action of like almost like you're trying to tuck your tailbone as you shift forward, keeping that front shin nice and vertical. Feels good already. And then we're gonna come back just to that parallel back leg. And this is where you may want yoga blocks or something to prop your hands up on. From here, if you can reach the floor and it feels fine, that's okay too. I'm gonna show it with the blocks though, because often this is a little bit nicer. So from here, we're just gonna come back into a half split from here. So don't worry if you can't do a split, it's just a half one. So we're gonna flex the front foot and then just sit back. So think about in this one, keeping your spine neutral as opposed to rounding. And that's why bringing the hands up can be really helpful, because if your hands are down here, you might feel like this is happening. See how my back is really rounded here? We want to think about just for this one, keeping length. And then sometimes a little dynamic opener, maybe just coming forward. And for now, I'm not gonna go totally neutral with my hips as I come forward. I'm just gonna move a little differently here. Feels nice. So just coming forward and then back. And I am keeping my front shin vertical as I come forward, or pretty vertical. And then as I come back, I'm just flexing my foot too. And then just coming forward and back. I love this, just feels really good. And back. Good, let's do one more round. And back. Good, and then we're just gonna come back forward to that neutral. I'm gonna turn around actually, so I'm still facing you when I do this next one. So I'm just coming back now to that high kneeling that we were in before. I'm just gonna take a little twist here because the back can get a little tight too, and twisting might feel nice. So you can take a gentler twist, just bringing your hands outside. I'm just thinking about just sort of the rib cage. So not just the hands coming, but think about rotating the rib cage as you go. Just wringing tension out of your body. Still able to take a nice healthy breath. Ribs should be able to move when you breathe. And then if it feels good, you can come down here. Same thing, just get a nice twist. Just wringing out tension. Maybe reaching the arms out, even if that feels okay. So just always, of course, listen to your body. You could have your bottom hand on a block here as well if you wanted. Something like this. Listen to your body. Make sure you can breathe here. And then we'll just unwind and come back up. And then we'll just do the other side. So same thing, we'll just come back to the parallel legs. And then on this side, we'll again just take the other leg forward. Find that neutral pelvis. Keep that front shin vertical. And then we'll just sort of shift a little bit forward, just where you can. It doesn't have to be really far. That back hip, the front of the back hip is getting that nice opening. The opposite of sitting. So nice. In all of our parts, right, we want to think about having that balance or trying anyway, working towards that balance of mobility and stability. So hips can be a little bit of a tension magnet, or just from everyday life, you know, the positions we're in, how long we're in those positions, stress in general, right? So this is really nice. So from here, maybe just, again, turning that back hip out a little bit if that feels okay. One side might also feel different than the other. So you might find that the range of motion on one side might need to be a little bit different. The variation you do of the position might have to be a little bit different. And then coming back, and then same thing. So maybe with blocks, maybe you're not, maybe books, whatever, you know, whatever you got. So from here, we're just gonna come back into that half split. So I'm gonna shift one side again. So just that nice length in the spine. So try not to be rounded, but lengthen out. Be flexing that front foot. We stretch the toes out, even kind of give them a wiggle. That's good. And then we're just gonna come back and forth a few times, just forward to that vertical shin. And back. And again, I'm not coming up here this time. You certainly could. I'm just mixing it up a little bit, just to add a little variety to my movement. But still keeping just that length in my spine. And this already feels better. My hips were a little tight from one of our flights had a lot of turbulence, so we really had the seatbelt sign on pretty much the whole time. We were kind of stuck there. So this feels really good. Forward. Back. So we'll do one more round here, or I'm going to. You do as many as you want, whatever feels good. And then I'll return back up, and I'm just gonna come back upright again. And then same thing, I'll start with the gentler twist, just kind of see how I feel. So thinking about, again, not just the hands coming, but think about your spine. Think about the rib cage rotating. Like, this is a little bit of a balance challenge too. The back knee's down, which helps, but still, you might feel a little wobbly when you twist at first. And then maybe coming down, taking a twist here. And just make sure as you're twisting that you don't feel like all of a sudden you have to hold your breath. If that happens, then just back off a little bit, because it's not worth it. Breathing's important. So just a nice, just a wringing tension. Just trying to give every cell in our body, a little squish, right? We need to move all the parts. And then you can, again, if you wanted to add, you could reach the arms out, if that feels okay. You could have your bottom hand on that block if you'd like. And even like the hip opener, same thing with the twist. You might find that it's easier to twist to one direction than the other. So you can always back off if you need to. Or maybe you feel symmetrical. But often we have one side that's a little different. And then just coming back to center, good. Just a nice release. So from here, let's just tuck the toes under and just come back from here just into a stretch back this way. Maybe shift the hip side to side. Sometimes it feels good to flip the palms up and open the shoulders this way. It's just a nice, and I have my head up to look, but you can bring your head down if you wanted to. If I talk into my rug, you'll never hear me. We're gonna bring your hands under the shoulders and then just come up nice and tall. And you did it. So it didn't take a lot of time or space, but it was really effective. So I already feel good. I already feel better, recovered from my long flight, I think, except for the shock of being back in cold weather. But my hips feel good, my spine feels good, my shoulders even feel a little bit better. So hopefully yours do too. And it's nice. It doesn't, moving doesn't mean that we don't have necessarily a whole lot of time to move to make it worthwhile. I think sometimes we think, oh, I only have 5 or 10 minutes, what's the point? But don't think that. It helps, it makes a difference. So all movement matters, even if it's a little bit of movement or a short amount of time. So even if you have maybe a half an hour or an hour allotted later today to move, don't feel like that's necessarily all you need to do. If you have 5 or 10 minutes, then move, you'll feel better. And yeah, so if you feel good, if you like these types of short movement breaks, or if you have tight hips, please give this video a thumbs up so I know, and I will make more like this. Or leave a comment in the comment section, because I love feedback like that as well. So I'd love to hear from you as well, so that I can do the types of videos that you find helpful, of course. So hopefully you do find this helpful, but definitely let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I hope your hips are feeling happier, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me.